Okay, let's get into this. Think about heavy industry for a second.
Right. Manufacturing, utilities.
Exactly. Places where moving really heavy stuff, massive loads, it's not just part of the job. It basically is the job.
And getting it wrong.
Oh, it's incredibly expensive. Dangerous, too. It just slows everything down.
Yeah.
So lifting in these kinds of environments, it's not some nice to have. It's fundamental. And you need, well, serious precision, reliability.
Absolutely critical.
Which brings us to today. We're doing a deep dive into some innovative lifting solutions, the kind that are supposed to make those big critical moves, easier, safer.
Right. And we've got some source material to look at here, mostly coming from peenergy.com.
Okay.
And this material, it really zooms in on one specific product line, Coffing Hoists.
Coffing hoists. Got it. So our mission then for this deep dive is to really unpack what this material is telling us about these coffing hoists.
Yeah, what are the features they're pushing?
What are the big benefits they claim? And I guess, why are they positioning these particular hoists, especially through peenergy.com, as industry leading?
We should look at the different types mentioned too. Air, electric, manual hoists.
Yep, cover the range.
Okay, so one of the first things that jumps out, it's a strong claim right off the bat. This idea of unmatched durability, reliability, and performance.
That is a strong claim. Sets a high bar.
It really does. It suggests these aren't just, your standard lifting tools. They're presented as equipment built for really demanding, continuous work.
And the material seems to use the Coffing JLC electric chain hoist as, the main example of this robust design idea.
Exactly. It explicitly says it's engineered, from the ground up for the heavy-duty demands of industrial applications.
Okay, so heavy-duty focus. What specifics do they give on the JLC itself?
Well, looking at the description, some physical details stand out. They mention its compact size, almost saying it's, deceptively small for what it can do. And then, critically, it highlights a powerful multiple disc motor brake.
Okay, multiple disc brake. That sounds important for safety.
Huge. For anyone working with heavy loads, that's vital. It's not just about lifting power. It's about safely holding that load.
Controlling it.
Exactly. Especially if there's a power interruption or something. A multiple disc brake gives you serious stopping power, redundancy.
So, compact but powerful with a key safety feature. Makes sense. What else?
But material also really hammers home its toughness. A rugged design built for the toughest environments.
Right.
And it's apparently capable of withstanding extreme environmental conditions.
Which in industry could mean, what? Dust, moisture, temperature swings.
All of the above, usually. Think about a foundry or an outdoor site or, an oil rig. Conditions aren't exactly pristine.
Good point. So it's built to last in those settings.
That seems to be the core message. And this robust engineering, according to the material, translates directly into some big operational wins.
Okay, like what?
They talk about boosting lifting efficiency. That's huge for, just getting stuff done faster. Throughput.
Right. More lifts per hour, potentially.
Enhancing overall productivity. And, this is a big one, minimizing downtime. Equipment failure is a killer for schedules and budgets.
Absolutely. Downtime is incredibly costly. And hang on, it says here it even links reliability to lifting workforce morale. That's interesting.
Isn't it? Think about it from the operator's perspective.
Yeah.
You're on site, maybe it's hot, maybe it's noisy, challenging conditions. The last thing you want is to be fighting with equipment you don't trust.
Or that feels unsafe.
Exactly. So reliable tools, they don't just make the work quicker, they make it less frustrating.
Yeah.
Safer, psychologically maybe too, for the people actually using them.
That connection between the gear and, well, how people feel on the job, that's actually a pretty powerful point they're making.
It really is. It goes beyond just the specs, doesn't it? It's about the human side of things.
Yeah. So, okay, back to the specs for a sec. Does it mention capacity? How much can these things actually lift?
It does. It gives specific ranges for the JLC, showing its flexibility. It goes from a delicate 18-ton.
Okay, pretty light. For precise stuff, maybe?
Seems likely, all the way up to a robust 2-ton load. So quite a range there for heavier lifts.
And it's not just about weight capacity, is it? I see mentions of different speeds.
Correct. They detail various speeds available, like 32 feet per minute, 16 FPM, 8 FPM.
Okay.
And different lift heights, too. 10 feet, 15 feet, 20 feet are examples given.
So the idea is you can really dial it in, tailor it to the specific job.
That's exactly what it suggests. You're not just grabbing any hoist off the shelf. You're selecting one that fits your specific workflow, the speed you need, the distance you need to cover.
Makes sense for efficiency. And underpinning all of this, I assume, is safety compliance.
Oh yeah, the material is very clear on that. It states JLC hoists comply with all relevant safety standards, which in these high-risk industrial settings,
Is cable stakes.
yeah,
It has to be there.
absolutely non-negotiable.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's the electric JLC getting a lot of focus. Does the material mention others? You said manual hoists earlier.
It does briefly touch on the Coffing LHHNC hand chain hoist.
LHHNC.
Okay. And what they highlight there is its focus on safety, reliability, and performance, specifically in zero-foot lift scenarios.
0-foot lift. Explain that quickly.
Sure. It basically means lifting something directly off the ground or floor level. There's no slack chain hanging down needed for storage, which you sometimes see.
Okay.
So it needs specific engineering to handle the chain properly right from the surface level. Makes it good for tight spaces or working right on top of something.
Gotcha. So another example of a specialized design for a specific challenge.
Exactly. It fits that pattern in the material presenting the Coffing line as offering tailored solutions, not just one-size-fits-all lifting.
All right. So we have these Coffing hoist products, the JLC, the LHHNC, with these claimed features, benefits,
Right.
durability, specific applications.
Mhm.
But the material doesn't just stop at the product itself. There's a lot of emphasis on how you actually get these things and the support system around them.
Yeah, that's where PEEnergy.com really comes into the picture.
Okay, so what's their role, according to this?
They're positioned as the key provider, described as the ultimate go-to for top-tier wholesale industrial supply solutions.
Ultimate go-to. Strong words again.
Mm-hmm. And they present themselves in a sort of dual role, both a direct supplier and also a trusted retailer.
Okay, direct supplier and retailer. What's interesting, though, is how they frame the relationship. It's not just buy our stuff.
No, definitely not.
It's described as a partnership grounded in enhancing your operational capabilities. Partnership. That implies something, well, deeper.
More involved than just a transaction, yeah. And the material tries to flesh that out by detailing the support and services they offer.
Such as?
Things like unparalleled client service. They talk about leveraging their understanding of the specific needs of different industries to provide personalized service.
Okay, personalized service. What else?
They also claim competitive pricing and an unparalleled selection, suggesting they have a wide range of products available.
Right. Inventory matters. But you said support. What kind of support?
Well, beyond just selling the hoist, they list things like helping with custom lifting solutions.
So that ties back to picking the right model, the right speed, lift height, etc.
Exactly, providing expert advice. They mention installation support, which is practical.
Very practical.
Maintenance services, repair capabilities, plus dedicated technical support. So ongoing help after the sale.
That sounds comprehensive. So they guide you on selection.
Right, finding the right hoist for your specific needs. And they even offer resources for training. They acknowledge the hoists are user-friendly, but...
But proper training is always a good idea for safety and getting the most out of it.
Precisely. Always recommended.
What about getting the actual hardware? Logistics.
Covered too. Promise of fast and reliable shipping. And they make a point about quality assurance.
How?
By highlighting that they source products from reputable manufacturers like Coffing, it's sort of reinforcing the credibility loop. Good supplier sources good products.
Okay. Makes sense. Now, they mentioned wholesale earlier. Does the material get into the procurement side of things? Buying in bulk, maybe?
It does. It talks about competitive pricing potentially coming from their direct relationships with manufacturers and their own bulk purchasing power.
Okay, economies of scale.
Yeah. And they even mention offering flexible financing options for bulk orders.
Financing for bulk. That could be significant for some companies' cash flow.
Definitely. And they just point out the straightforward benefits of buying in bulk, too. You know, potential cost savings per unit, and maybe more importantly, a more stable supply chain.
Right. Knowing you have the equipment or parts when you need them, that's crucial for keeping operations running smoothly.
Absolutely. So if we kind of zoom out, again, connect this back to the bigger picture, the sources really push this long-term perspective, return on investment.
How do they frame that?
Well, the durability and reliability we talked about for the Coffing hoists, they're presented as reducing the frequency and cost of replacements and repairs over time.
So less fixing, less replacing. Lower total cost of ownership, potentially.
That's the argument. While the initial price tag might be, substantial, the material argues it delivers a solid return on investment over the equipment's entire working life.
Okay, solid ROI. And who benefits most from this whole package? The hoist and the support system. Did they specify industries?
Yeah, they did. They specifically call out sectors like oil and gas, manufacturing, utilities, and basically any heavy industrial sector.
So the usual suspects for needing heavy, reliable lifting.
Pretty much. Places where that durability and support combo would presumably offer the biggest advantages.
Okay, so let's just quickly recap the main differentiators for, say, the Coffing JLC hoist, based on what the material says.
Sure. I'd say it boils down to that combination of robust design,
Build tough.
operational performance reliability,
It works when you need it.
and stated ease of use. Plus, they mention it's designed to integrate seamlessly with existing systems.
Minimizing integration headaches. That's always good.
Nobody likes compatibility problems. And that precision control we touched on earlier,
Yeah.
key for ensuring smooth and safe handling of sensitive and delicate equipment, where a jucky movement could cause real damage.
Right. Not just about lifting heavy, but lifting smoothly, too.
Exactly. One other thing mentioned, which is, quite relevant today,
Got that?
PEnergy.com's stated commitment to sustainability, including offering eco-friendly product options.
Interesting. So an awareness of environmental factors alongside the operational stuff.
Yeah, it seems to be part of their overall pitch. So if you pull all these threads together,
Yeah.
the overall message that comes through from the source material is pretty clear. PEnergy.com wants to be seen as a partner,
A partner in.
empowering industrial success. And they aim to do that by giving access to reliable, high-performance gear like these Coffing hoists, backing it all up with expert support, competitive pricing, basically trying to ensure operations run smoothly and efficiently, keeping the customer satisfied.
Okay, so this deep dive into the source material, it really paints a picture, doesn't it? Where these robust, reliable lifting solutions, like the Coffing hoists described here, are presented as absolutely critical.
Yeah, for industrial efficiency, for safety.
And it positions PEnergy.com not just as a vendor selling a product,
No, definitely not.
but as more of a comprehensive partner, providing that whole framework of support, expertise, and even procurement advantages to make these solutions really work in practice.
Exactly. And for you, the listener, maybe think about what this whole approach says about what really matters when you're sourcing critical industrial gear.
Yeah.
I mean, it's clearly presented as being about more than just the specs on the product sheet, right? It seems to be fundamentally about the whole ecosystem.
A support network.
The partnership, the service that stands behind the product, especially when you're talking about demanding environments where, well, failures just aren't really an option.
Okay, so here's a final thought then, just to leave you with it, building on everything we've unpacked from these sources today.
Okay.
If optimizing your industrial operations really relies so heavily on having both genuinely durable equipment and a supplier who provides that really comprehensive support, from helping you choose it, maybe financing it, through to maintenance, technical help,
Yeah.
what does that imply about the actual long-term cost and maybe the risk profile of choosing potentially cheaper alternatives that come with less support, especially in those really demanding environments? What stands out to you about this kind of holistic approach to industrial supply that the source material describes?